I told her I was gonna go live or whatever. She was like, "Go ahead and do what you gotta do. I'm cool." So, what I want to do for Mother's Day, since we are in the crime niche, and you know how we do, we kind of a mixed bag of nuts bunch. You know what I mean? We don't want to be involved in the fuckery, but we like to watch the fuckery. So, especially on this channel, if you're watching my channel, you like to watch other people's fuckery. So today we're going to do a two-part. So first, we are going to talk about Daryl Brooks. We are going to clown. Oh my God, I found some footage, but I did not upload it, unfortunately. When I pulled up Daryl's trial, it was when he was trying to, it was something about when he was trying to do something. I can't remember. But instead of that, I decided we're going to look at clips of when he lost his temper and kind of get a, since we got robbed as far as how we felt about the trial that was coming up, and Erica saying, "I'm gonna be there and he's gonna see all this and he's gonna have to, I gotta put closure behind me. I gotta put Daryl behind me so I can move on. I don't know what moving on is, but I'm gonna move on. I gotta put Daryl behind me." So now that she got the rug pulled out from under her, didn't have to show up to trial, Daryl was like, "Nope, fuck you. All I needed to do was get popped in the eye one time. I did it. Guilty without pleading guilty. So guilty, no contest or whatever. So I'm guilty without saying I'm guilty. So just put me back in Dodge City. So, you guys don't have to whip my ass in county anymore in Milwaukee." So, but with that being said, let's get into the Daryl Brooks fuckery. So the first video that I wanted to quickly take a look at before we start getting the audience pumped up and getting to this main story that I found, and it kind of pissed me off. But let's look at this Daryl Brooks fuckery first. So the first one I wanted to look at was his refusal to read the COVID-19 test. I thought this was so fucking funny. Check this out.
Consent to being talked to in that fashion.
Your lack of consent is noted for the record. Please find the piece of paper, open it up, and please read it.
I will not consent to that, Your Honor. Or do I agree to that, Your Honor? I do not.
Mr. Brooks, then I'm going to advise the Sheriff's Department to find the piece of paper and hand it to me so that I can read it. So that those are your two options.
What would be the basis for that, Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, this is an issue that you raised, and I need to bring it to finality and know what the test result is.
Okay, with all due respect, it was a motion that I raised.
All right, I'm going to clear the courtroom. We're going to go off the record, and we're going to find that piece of paper, and I'm going to address it when that's done. I needed to make a record of what was being done, including that I have obtained the test result, so there's an accurate record in this case related to the motion that was raised previously by Mr. Brooks. I want Mr. Brooks to know that I am not removing him from when the jurors are brought back in. It was just simply because he was upset. He was very loud when I walked into the courtroom before going on back on the record. He was yelling about his constitutional rights being violated. I advised him that if there was any type of use of force that he wanted to complain about, he could certainly do that through the proper channels with the Sheriff's Department. But just given his state of agitation and my need to make a record, I had him taken to the other courtroom. He is currently muted. I do not intend to go forward with additional testimony. Ultimately, I'm going to take an early lunch break because of this, but I will make a record of the following. I have the result. I am going to scan it, have my clerk scan it. It will be filed as confidential, though. It won't be available to the public, but it's there for appellate purposes, but I can confirm that the test result for COVID-19 was negative. And again, I required the Sheriff's Department to provide that result to me, and it was, and it will remain under seal. I realize I'm disclosing that result, but I feel obligated to do that given the motion that was raised 2 days ago by Mr. Brooks.
That was so pretty. That was so pretty. With me today, we have Coffee and Red Bull, or Red Bull and Coffee from Morbid Justice. Welcome, ladies.
What up?
Good morning.
Good morning. So I wanted to start the show off with the Daryl Brooks fuckery because we are very, very, very well attested to Daryl Brooks and and what makes us laugh at him. And I figured since we got cheated, out of the trial, and he pled guilty. He pled guilty, no contest. So Erica couldn't have her closure apparently. So I'm two things I wanted to talk about on this one as far as the fuckery being Mother's Day. Let's keep it Mother's Day themed. Erica's Patterson's Mother's Day and Don Woods' Mother's Day. What do you guys think they are doing for their Mother's Day, starting with Erica Patterson? Red Bull, go.
I see her sitting with a bottle, or even just, I don't think it would be Hennessy, maybe a Colt 45 next to a store somewhere. Panhandling. I don't know. I don't know what else she would be doing. I'm surprised. I'm surprised she's not on video right now. Doing what she does. But hey.
What about you, Coffee?
I sort of like the Colt 145 there. I think that's probably where we're at.
I pictured her on Mother's Day, probably trying to shout out on her mother on her Facebook page. And actually, you know what? I'm curious to see. Let's look at. I'm gonna look her up and see if she. Let me see. I'm curious to know if she did a Mother's Day video this morning or today.
I'm the greatest mother in the world. Everybody send me $5 so I can can treat myself to a pedicure, manicure, and a 22.
Nothing new with her as far as her videos. Her last one was 11 days old, which was the one pre-trial to Daryl, talking about how she was going to go up there and give him closure, give herself closure or whatever. But
what social media is she mostly active on? Like, I've never even looked.
Whatever platform is going to get her donations. So her whole thing is from studying her and everybody else that's been sleuthing and watching her from the team. She goes between Facebook and YouTube. I haven't seen her on IG or Twitter or anything like that, or X or whatever. But as far as like what I noticed that she just does that sweet, like that prostitute talk, you know what I mean? Like, oh, my sweeties, thank you. And it's like you never have a name. You're just like, it's like you're talking to George Bush, a female version of George Bush. You know what I mean? It would just, hey, buddy, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's my bowling buddy friend. We'll call him Tyrone, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like it's so disconnected, but she wants to be emotionally connected to you just for the victimization type shit. So,
yeah.
It just seems that way, but it's never where she's like solid on a platform saying, look, these are my thoughts and feelings soberly. This is what I'm going through. I miss my daughter. You know what I mean? There's never no real substance behind it. No real emotions about, how I feel, what I'm doing. If you did want support, if you're ready to get help, that's kind of the stuff that I would think you would kind of be relaying if you do want an audience and you're trying to build trust. You know what I mean?
I was about to say that, a lot of people, you're saying that you can't work or this and that, and you still want to be a alcoholic. Why not stay consistent with your social media and build a following like that, and then you can get paid off of social media? I mean, come on now.
So before we get into Dawn's Mother's Day theories or whatever, let's look at some of the audience and see what they got to say. Miss Kimmy, welcome back to the show. I had to do something for Mother's Day. It's me. As toxic as I am, I like to box in the toxicity and package it up. For those of us that can handle those kind of packages and like to open them up, put them on the table, and kind of like, oh, that's so cute, go Hercules. You know what I mean? We like to watch other people's shit is what I'm saying. So that's what we're doing. So I packaged this up so you guys can watch this for Mother's Day. For those of us who have grown kids or kids that are assholes themselves, and you're like, man, See, I could have been that parent. You're lucky, little. See,
Right.
that's that type of shit.
Yes, and happy Mother's Day to everybody that's watching, by the way.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Yes, exactly. TY, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel, girl. You already know. Christine, welcome to the channel.
Thank you,
Renee,
Christine.
welcome back. Say again.
Oh, I was saying Christine. I was telling Christine, thank you. That's a good friend of ours.
No worries. Welcome to the channel. Let's see. Yeah, Colt 45. Yeah, I think she's the vodka head though. According to her and Daryl, she's like a big vodka head. So that's why I'm like when I climb on the shows, I'm like, yeah, you when the donations are dry, she's getting the the plastic vodka bottle that's like $12, the little fifth, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, or the eighth or whatever. But when those donations comes in, she goes and gets, it just says vodka with the red label. No, it just says 85% proof. That's it. You know what I'm saying? No other ingredient. It doesn't even say where it's from. It just says vodka.
Yeah, that's that. Nope.
That's where she gets those donations though. You know what I'm saying? She moves up to the glass bottles. You know what I'm saying? Then it's the name brands. You know what I'm saying, that she jumps on. Yep, Erica, bottle of vodka out of the bottle. Yep, out the bottle. TY, you have it right. So Erica's probably on the street corner of Wisconsin Avenue, where the streetwalkers go. Oh man! With that being said, Kimmy, you brought us into our. Well, we don't have sponsors on this channel because I don't like to be controlled. So I don't like people telling me, "Hey, you got my money, so you have to do your content this way." But this segment is going to be brought to you by Fish Deodorant. Check it out.
If it isn't fresh, I'm out of business. Isn't that sweet, you little moneymaker, you?
Use new sweet fish every day. Keep that skunky away. Use new sweet fish every day. Keep that skunky away. Sweet fish.
I am dying.
Well, with what I'm saying. So, with that being said, for all of you girls that are out there that are hoeing but not hoeing, for all of us that do Uber, you know what I'm saying, that I know the old school corner, the red light district is no longer a thing because since we have technology, there's like nuances now. So the red districts are like new websites now. So what these girls do is they advertise on the websites, hook up the data as like inbound call girls, and then they call us as Uber drivers to say, hey, we need a ride. So we go drop them off to where they need to go. So the oldest profession in the world, still a profession. It's what it is. It's what it is.
You're just helping the pimps and the streetwalkers.
Well, we're making sex trafficking safer. That's what we're doing. Yeah, we're avoiding the police. We're avoiding law enforcement altogether. We're avoiding any other looky-loos that like want to distract her from getting from the pimp to the John. Because the pimp is working hard. He's managing this shit. But by using Uber, this man has streamlined his business. So
You're doing a good thing, Norman. You're doing
hey, well, we keep the streets safer because not all if Uber wasn't around, imagine how many motherless children there would be out there from prostitution murders. So just saying.
Right.
Just saying. Because there are some wicked moms that are out there that are doing, not the mothers that are watching my channel, of course, but there are wicked mothers that are out there that, switch hit, play both sides of the fence and say, hey, I was raped, but were you raped at the club or were you raped at your house watching your kids? Were you roofied? Yeah, I mean, potato, but who am I? Everybody's got to live their life, and go be young once, I guess, I have to tell my daughter, because you have to tell them you can't save everyone. So I have to tell my daughter, you got to think of the human race as roaches. When the lights come on, the evil ones scatter. The big ones, the big ones know to run, but the little ones stand there because they don't know what the fuck's going on. You know what I mean? So when life comes, when you're doing bad, when the evil's doing bad, you got to think like roaches. That's how the police look at them. When the police come and the lights come on, everybody scatters. The only one that stands there are usually the ones that are the Johns, because they can't leave because they're stuck in the car, you know what I mean, or whatever. But everybody else scatters. The pimps, you can't find them. The hoes, you can't find them. But they always catch the Johns.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It's the weird way that I look at life. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yo, the ignorant ones are the ones that stand there in the light when there's dark, you know, when they're doing bad. You know what I'm saying? So if you're doing bad and you're ignorant, you should not be. You are hanging with the wrong crowd, is what I'm saying. So yeah, no
Yeah.
one to blame themselves. Happy Mother's Day. Oh my God. So yeah, so Renee said Erica isn't a real mother. She just wants the sympathy and benefits to come with being a valid mother. True that. We all know this is this Mother's Day special kind of like just kind of floats into the content, because you know this channel really doesn't like fake mothers and fake parenting, and you know that contribute to the crime wave. And whether you like it or not, Erica helped contribute to the crime wave. You know, whether you want to say she's innocent or guilty, she contributed one way or another to the fuckery, is all I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. Nobody's innocent in the world of crime.
I mean, see, my way of thinking is that if she would have never, like, if she would have stuck with what it was and she wasn't supposed to have any kind of contact, I mean, he wouldn't have been there in the first place, right? So that whole situation could have been avoided.
Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of it'da, coulda, shoulda, wouldas, you know, that could have played a factor. I mean, because even if we looked at it even in more detail, we could have said, well, if Corey wasn't antagonizing and trying to entice, because Corey's just as much as a lush as Erica. So if Corey wasn't in the picture, because Corey was no longer even at the facility. So she left her boyfriend's house to go get Erica from the facility to drag her out into the streets of Wisconsin to go walk around and, you know, do their thing.
Well, they all need to be charged then with something.
I mean, but when you're bringing the root, like, let's look at it like the roots of a tree. I mean, the tree is bad. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. The tree is overgrown and whatever, but how far do we dig in as far as the roots to pull it out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't cause and effect. I mean, is it direct cause and effect, or are we talking about 1, 2, 3 degrees of indirect effect that is guilty also? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
Sure.
let's see here. We got Renee said, someone please donate a pamphlet to her local AA chapter.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. We in below the belt, Renee. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for the comment.
My comments keep writing double. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, I just seen that too. Yours did too. I just seen that on yours too. Are you on two different Are you on two different?
No.
Oh, you know what it is? I might. No, this is you. This isn't mine. So yeah, I don't know. But I won't show them on here double. How's that?
Good. That's good.
So now, with that all being said, let's get back to Mommy Dearest. Starting with Red Bull, or with coffee this time. Coffee.
Mhm.
What do you think Dawn is doing at this very moment for Mother's Day?
I don't know who. I'm sort of lost in this case, guys.
That would be Mother Dearest. That would be Daryl Brooks's mother, the one that was screaming about
Oh.
mental health and, you know.
You've got me. I don't have a clue of what this woman would be doing.
I think she's working for Mother's Day, but you know, because Daryl's commissary ain't gonna come for free. But
Well, that's
Red Bull,
definitely true.
Red Bull, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, I have a different view for now of Dawn, but you know, she probably is working because what's his name? Oh, Daryl needs money, but even if money isn't all the money that's sent to him, isn't it taken away?
Not all of it. I think a portion he can have like up to like so much money for his commissary, but then anything over goes to victim funds.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah,
then
they're allowed to keep a percentage of what they get.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
he needs like personal hygiene and Tootsie Roll or something like that.
I was like, dang, that, Daryl's a piece of shit monster. Of course, like, I wouldn't even care, but like, that's really messed up. Like, every single penny is taken away. I thought that was for like, all prisoners, but that were, what was his thing? Like, it's going to a victim's,
A victimhood fund.
yeah.
So it would go to Baby Jackson's parents and the other 5 from the parade that were hit. And then I was watching this morning some of the videos too. There was actually an interview that a man did. Let me see if I got that. But there was an interview this man did in regards to his daughter. He went to his daughter's little high school function, and they didn't have. They were trying to figure out. He was a concealed carrier. He admitted on the news, but I didn't tape it. I'll show you the re-edit. But apparently he was in the news, and he admitted on live television that he was concealed carry and that he went to try to pop shots at Daryl, but he had rolled by so fast because he's a veteran combat veteran, excuse me. So he said he was about to pop shots at Daryl, and the car spun off so fast, and there were so many pedestrians in the way. And so he went into triage mode and went back to see if he could help his daughter's friends. And he said what was crazy is that his daughter was supposed to be on that side of the street where the kids got, where some of the kids got hit, and her group, but none of them were killed. They just, kind of got hit by the car or whatever. But he said that at the last minute, she had switched with another student so she can march on that side of the street so he and, the family could see her and get pictures. And so that, that was crazy that happened though.
That's insane. See, I never heard that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I found it on here, but I was going to show it on here, but I was trying to get everything together with everything you guys were telling me, about our next story. And I was just like, oh, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So yeah, so I started going through everything.
Is she, what family still like speaks to her or Daryl? Is there any family?
On Daryl's side that she's still cool with?
Yeah, or like,
Well, you got to remember, she raised his sister's kids, his niece and nephew. So Anijah and his younger sister, her name escapes my memory all the time, but Anijah and his younger sister were raised by her. So I don't know if they still live in the house with her, but I know they're still there by default. But as far as like any other Brookses or any Woods, I haven't seen anything in public record where Dawn actually has a open relationship with anybody. But I do see where she was friends online with some of the Brookses from Michigan. But old people don't talk on Facebook like younger people do. You know what I mean? We'll talk, not we. Younger people will talk in an open forum for the public to see because they're on that I don't give a fuck, I'm me, this is who I am type shit. Whereas we're more conservative as we get older and more privatized about what we do. So
yeah, that makes sense. I just wasn't sure. I totally forgot that she did raise the sister's children. So wait, where's the sister?
that's the one that committed suicide by overdose.
Oh shoot. See, I missed a lot.
That's Daryl's twin. So he had a twin sister named Ebony. And when they both started coming up in Waukesha or whatever, they weren't necessarily like best friends as twins, because they were male and female. So they both had their own lives doing their own thing. But Ebony had 2 kids that were older than his 2 kids, than his oldest kid. So she started having babies even before he did.
Wow.
So she was no spring chicken either, you know what I mean? And not to talk shit about the dead or anything like that, you know what I mean? 48 Laws of Power says to avoid talking shit about the dead or anything. But as far as like, when you look at the background of the family, birds of a feather.
It's a lot of mental illness, like stuff that runs in the family. Right?
I wouldn't even say mental illness. I would say people are confusing mental illness with drug-addled thinking.
Yeah.
Just because you're on drugs doesn't mean you're mentally ill. You know what I mean? And just because you use drugs or want to use drugs doesn't mean you're trying to cope or mask or whatever a mental illness. You know what I mean? People get drunk because they just feel like fucking getting drunk and they don't want to do anything else. They're bored. You know what I mean? We've all been to high school. What do you want to do today? I don't know. We want to smoke some weed. You know what I mean? You know, and ain't nobody getting abused. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, granted, it's probably a gateway drug, you know, allegedly. You know what I mean? But I just don't see where all these people, especially with Daryl. Daryl has been dibbling in and out of drugs all of his life, whether he was high the day they caught him or not, whether it was in a system or not. He's been in and out of the drug game, and he shows where he drinks too. I mean, he drinks what do you call that? That syrup shit. He's always showing where he's got, you know, 7-Up and fucking or Mountain Dew and whatever and cough syrup. So, and I've shown it on my other videos. So there,
Yeah.
he's no stranger to what I'm getting at. He's no stranger to inebriation in one form or fashion. So his sister's the same way. But when you look at their social media, she has visited more in Michigan. I think the sister was more closer to that side of the family as far as the Brookses than he was, because he was such a hellion in the streets, where she was a closet fucking, you know, asshole.
Yeah. Okay. So how long ago did that happen?
Shit, I can't remember. I think she died in 2016, I think it was. I'd have to look it up. It's been a minute. But yeah,
I
it was
haven't.
some years. It was some years ago. Maybe somebody in the audience knows. You can look it up and throw it in the comments. But
I think
yeah,
Renee said that the twin sister was a good-looking woman. Like, so I guess I take it she doesn't look anything like.
well, the only pictures we have of Ebony, because everything's been basically scrubbed, and she was on drugs so much, you know, at the end, that there was nothing, you know, to show. You know, she was on social media, so the pictures that we have are like right when she had her kids, when she was still young. So we
Mm-hmm.
don't know what she looked like up until her death. We have younger pictures of her, and I even showed baby pictures of her on my previous videos. But we don't have anything that was, you know, up, you know, currently from 2016. So I think the latest picture we have was probably 2010. If I'm going off memory.
Oh
So
wow. I'm gonna have to look at that.
yeah, I thoroughly went through their whole background as far as anything that I could find.
Oh yeah.
But
I
you got to
know
remember when we were.
so many videos that I still like because I've watched a lot, but you have so much on Daryl Brooks. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in and relabel everything and kind of categorize everything up better. You know what I mean? Because I don't have a team, so I'm just like, hurry up and throw it on there, hurry up and label, throw it on there, hurry up and label, throw it on there. You know what I mean? So I don't have anybody to go in the back end and be like, yo, you need to work on your titles, you need to work on this. You know, so after 3 years of YouTubing, I'm still learning as I go, putting on every hat that YouTube has to offer as far as being a content creator. So.
Jane Doe
But
said she died in 2016.
boom. See, that's that semi-photographic memory. I said 2016. But yeah,
Wow.
so yeah,
That's
but Dawn had custody of them all that time, to answer your question. So who is on Dawn's side? Family by
um
default, the kids she raised.
yeah, that's really sad. That is horrible.
Well, I
And
mean,
those,
it's what it is. I mean, it's what it is. A lot of mothers, you know, and not to make this a morbid, no pun intended, Mother's Day, but a lot of mothers find themselves by themselves, you know, hence in our next story, we'll find out that they don't have the support that they think they have. So they cry and they victimize themselves to try to get support around them. And it's false flag bullshit. It's stolen valor. And it's like, okay, Dawn is reaching out now about mental health. Where was this mental health before, when Daryl was doing all these crimes from 7 years old all the way up until 20, 30, 40, whatever years old? Where was all this mental health that you were involved with? Instead, you had him sleeping in your fucking backyard in a truck and in a tent with his baby mama on top of that.
yeah.
And you know, you're hearing, you got one grandson in the house who has already got a restraining order on him, and that's why Daryl can't be in the house. So you let your son stay in the backyard with all that going on. So not only do you know that he has the potential of violence, not just physical violence, but with a deadly weapon, and you have him sleeping in your backyard knowing he's whipped this girl's ass in the past, and you can probably hear her whipping her ass in the tent in the car. That's why she was trying to get the hotel rooms.
Well, you know, there's so much enabling when it comes to those situations. I mean, and I get it because, you know, my kids have all had their own stories. But as a mother, you have to limit where you're going to allow that enabling to end. And if you've got somebody in your house that's already got a restraining order against somebody, and then to let him live in the backyard, right there says that you went over and above the enabling, and maybe people aren't right. Maybe she should be charged.
Well, so my thing is also is okay, so the person that had a restraining order, why was he living there, like, in the
He's
first
a
place?
minor. He's a minor.
Oh,
That's
he was a
Ebony's son. Yeah, so when Ebony died in 2016, he was a child. So that by default, the grandmother took over.
wait. Oh,
Daryl was living there at the time. So before him and Erica went in the backyard. So a couple months prior to that, him and Anijah got into it because Anijah had a guest over at his house. It was some female that was there with him. Now, Anijah is openly LGBTQ, which it doesn't
Okay.
make a difference one way or another. But I guess the girl was smarting off to Daryl, and Daryl didn't. And Daryl was like, whatever, and got hot and whatever. And I guess he had this pistol. And in the police report, and you could see this in one of my past videos, he claimed that the pistol was taken from Xavier, his 18-year-old or 17-year-old at the time, 16, 17-year-old at the time, but was taken from his older son, confiscated because his son was on Instagram showing that he had it. And so he confiscated it. So in that report, he was trying to allude that he didn't mean to shoot the gun, and the only reason it was in his possession was because he, as a good father, he had confiscated it from his child. And that's the way it was trying to be relayed in the report when he tried to give his side of the story. So long story short, he shot the gun into the ground, threatening them while they were in their vehicle backing out of the driveway. And in the police report, Anijah, of course, him and the girl were scared for their life or whatever. Police showed up. They ended up going into that. They had to go into the house, and Don, I guess, let him in. I'm going off memory, but I believe Don let him in the house. They had to go get the gun. They had to go arrest him, the whole nine. And that's when he finally gave his statement. Now, I went online on IG. I could not find anywhere on IG where even Xavier had an IG account, for one, nor find any pictures where he was,
Holding a gun
or anything like that. Yeah.
wow.
But he was arrested. Xavier was arrested for trying to, allegedly attempting to kill himself during the trial with Daryl Brooks, with his mom. But that extended from him biting her finger, or her finger or some shit like that. And that's where the domestic violence and all that came from. And then he barricaded himself in the basement. But I don't recall there being anything with a gun or anything like that.
Huh. Okay. I'm gonna have to go back and start and watch the ones that I haven't seen, because that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the more I kept deep diving into the story, the more it was like everybody, with the exception of Anijah and his sister, everybody is a monster in this story. Erica's a monster. Erica was a monster at 15. And people are like, no, she's innocent. There are some kids that are just born Lucifer, Damien type style shit. You know what I mean? Like, that are just bad seeds. And whether they're born like that in the single, or innocent in the single digits, and then something happens in the double digits. But by the time Erica was 15, she was already on her way, or she's already been bit by the vampire. Let's just put it that way. And there was no trying to turn her back with any kind of holy water or anything like that. She was already in the grasp of whatever demon had her, because she was online soliciting herself without Daryl.
Yeah.
right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, Daryl's a monster, don't get me wrong, but she caught Daryl. Daryl didn't catch her.
And my thinking, Renee, because I have 8 kids, so as a mother, I'm thinking, about Dawn and how she felt. But now I'm hearing all this stuff, so it makes sense. Her being in denial, and then, but once that happened, yeah, he should have been kept away. There's no reason why he should have been, especially when there's kids around and when that happened
But
with,
that's where the enabling comes in at.
yeah.
You deny and you enable. And that happens a lot.
Well, my thing is why isn't the state picking? Because with me, like not even with me, but well, me in the past too. Anybody has to just make an accusation. The state picks up the charges to find out, and they'll bring you in and ask you questions and see if they can squeeze a dime out of you for any fees or anything that was broken.
Hmm.
Why aren't they doing this with Don? Look, you had a restraint. Your minor child that you had in your house that you were responsible for had a restraining order against him. This man that has murdered 8 people, you housed in the backyard against the restraining order because you have to be within so many yards away. And I know your backyard ain't so many yards away from the victim. And the fact that you let him stay there shows that you were complicit in housing a murderer, or and housing this enabling action, not only
Right.
for domestic violence against another grandmother of your grandchildren, but you know what I mean, your hellion son has now murdered 8 other people and injured 70 countless other people. You know what I mean? No responsibility, nothing like that. The only thing that comes out of this is that you get a little bit of public shaming, and you have to put your house on mortgage that you can still live in, or you put your house up for mortgage that you can still, or put your house up for, she put her house on mortgage, or no, what did she do? She put her house on the fucking word I'm looking for.
When you're
bankrupt. She put her house on bankruptcy, so that way she can, you know what I'm saying, that way she could still live in it under a bankruptcy.
yeah, and yeah, that's crazy.
So there's no consequences, because nobody can now go after her for anything that she owns, which is, she doesn't own the truck. She doesn't have a life savings. She works as a fucking bum ass, you know what I'm saying, nurse or whatever she's been doing all her life. Every little bit of money that she had saved went to Daryl, because Daryl's trying to pimp out his baby mama to get the money back that he borrowed from his mother to get him out of jail for beating up his baby mama.
Yeah.
I mean, the shit gets deep. I mean, the shit is so complex and enabling deep. It's just horrific, but fascinating at the same time, because it makes you look at yourself and the people around you and say, what type of person are you? Are you a victim, or are you a fucking survivor? You know what I mean? Are you the person that, is causing the drama, or are you the person that watches the drama?
Yeah. It's sad.
I watch it. I like to watch it. I'm just.
It's really sad. And Sarah, she said, it worries me with Dawn raising the twins, because like she raised Daryl and he's a freaking monster. Yeah. And it goes with what Coffee said, the enabling. Are you going to do the same thing with the twins? What are you going to allow? What are you, and she's old. I believe that no kids should be in the house, like you said. No kids at all.
Well, the minute that Daryl was committed that, and they found out where the car that he had, that Don gave him access to the car, where the car was housed, and potentially where Daryl was staying, that should have been a red flag, and they should have been, Betty should have been investigated. And if they all they had to do was pull up Don's name in the fucking police system in Milwaukee and Waukesha, and they would have seen the restraining order that was connected to her, because she is the parent, the guardian of Anijah. And Daryl Brooks is on that paperwork. So it would by default pull her up. So they would look at it and say, you are not only in violation of the restraining order that the city put on your son, you are now complicit in, you know what I mean? And not in that, but complicit in putting your grandchild in danger. Even if we can't charge you for the parade shit, you're still in contempt of court for the restraining order that you willingly defied that we put on your son.
Could they have tried, but then, the excuse of, okay, well, he's violent, I'm scared of my son, something like that pop up, and then they just let it go?
What do you mean? Expound on that. What do you mean?
I only let Daryl stay in my backyard because I'm scared of him. That's
not an excuse. Hold on. You know how I say all the time, you can't have a gangster mouth and 911 fingers.
Yeah, true.
Either you're one or the other, and that's that whole stolen valor shit. You can't be the victim and the antagonist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that whole Erica Patterson shit. That's why she didn't want the police to get involved. Is because she felt guilty because she knew, that she didn't want Eric, she didn't want Corey, she didn't want Nick. She wanted to hurry up and jump out of the car. She was embarrassed because she was the one that called Daryl over there. That makes her just as complicit as Dawn would be.
Yep.
But I mean, again, how deep do you go as far as third degree, second degree, as far as involvement after as far as the vibration?
I just feel, like I said before, none of it would have ever happened. It might have happened. He might have ended up doing something else like later on, but I don't think a bunch of people would have died.
Well, we
But
could
like,
blame the courts too and say, well, why the fuck did they let him out of jail if he tried to commit vehicle homicide a
yeah,
week
but
prior? Why was he able to even post bail?
this happens like a lot, and we just don't really hear a lot about it where people get let out and they commit more murders or more whatever it is, but no one's, the courts, the justice system, even CPS, no one's ever held accountable when it comes to that. It hurts my nerves.
That part. So, oh, with that being said, Gary, let me bring up Gary. Gary, I'm gonna bring up. Matter of fact, on the re-edit, I'm gonna show you some pictures of some shit that he sent me. Matter of fact, I might be able to show you now. My man Gary makes these embroidered pins.
Oh, is this the one who made the that one?
The next show? Yeah. So Gary hit me up. Just so you guys know, Gary hit me up on Messenger and was like, Norm, send me a logo that you want me to embroider in these pins, this thing that I'm trying to do, because he's got aspirations of being a YouTuber and you're showing people how to do this carpentry type work. I don't even know what it's specifically called because it's not my niche, but he makes these embroidered wooden pin type things and it's dope as fuck. But what I'll do is as soon as he gets his everything up and running and everything, I'm gonna show some of his stuff on there. But yeah, I'm gonna send him my address. I gotta send him. We're about to move, so I'm getting a new address. Not saying I don't trust you, Gary, but I'm gonna give you the address to this old place because we're packing up right now with my mom's stuff. I don't know if you probably can't see anything, but yeah, we got the kitchen already packed up. But we're moving my mom to my new place because there's more room or whatever. So once I do that, have the internet transferred over, the mail we'll still be able to check the mail here or whatever. But I'll just send you the address of this place or whatever, and you can just send the pin there. So with that being said,
internet, I got a new internet.
I can tell you're not lagging today.
Yes. So we got that big. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Me and Coffee can actually have a discussion with you without you having to be like, "Oh man, hold on," and then you beep out, and then we're like, "Oh."
Hey.
It's like, how many tunnels does this girl have in her house? Jesus Christ.
I'm dead.
So, but thank you, Gary, for the comment. I appreciate you. Thank you. I've been trying to eat healthy. Now that mom's been in the hospital, I've been trying to make sure that I keep myself on point because like I have to tell the kids like part of being a parent and any kind of leadership, you have to make sure you take care of yourself before you can take care of others. So if I'm not going to physical therapy and I'm not making sure I'm eating healthy and blase, next I got to get the dental work done. But yeah, all that is coming in time. So it's what it is.
I just had that procedure done and I found out some other good news. I got accepted for something else. So my whole grill is about to be fixed and I am so excited. But
with that being said, let's segue into our next story.
I'm going to try to be good, you guys. If I'm quiet, it's because I have to. My anxiety in this, it frustrates me because we just know how full of.
So with the fuckery that we've been dealing with as far as Daryl Brooks, there's even more fuckery on the other side of the aisle as far as Mother's Day bullshit. So we have an old case that you guys probably already know that I've worked on for Kyron Horman and dealing with his bio mother who did not raise him, named Desiree Young, now Desiree Young. So to give you just a bullet point backstory in a nutshell, basically she got pregnant with Kyron. Her and her man had a falling out. They were getting divorced for whatever reason, whether he was cheating on her or not. Sidebar, women that are worried about a man's dick are women that can only make a man come. They usually can't cook, clean, none of that. So they only worry about what they can do, which is his dick. So when they worry about his dick going somewhere else, it's because they're worried about that other woman, if she can cook and clean and do everything that she can't do. You know what I mean? She's not worried about anything but where his penis is going. So when they split up, back to the story. So when they split up and got, or whatever, he got with a school teacher named Terry. And Terry and him ended up having this relationship where she by default became stepmother, ended up marrying the father. Now, during their divorce proceeding, back to Desiree and the father Kaine, before Kyron even had a name, they were getting divorced. So the love was already gone, but she was still trying to set up child support through the divorce. Before there was even anything established with parental rights or anything like that, before there was even a name for this child, they were already getting divorced, and she got pregnant during the divorce. That's how toxic this relationship was. So Kyron, after 6 years of age, disappears from his school, and it was an open science fair where they advertised for weeks on end with no fencing, no cameras, no nothing. Anybody in Oregon, and we know Oregon is like a big pedo, drug infested, in the words of Donald Trump, shithole in the United States when it comes to the 50 states. A lot of drug activity in that area.
Yes.
Let me add that this event also was like on billboards, like the whole, the whole town knew
Correct.
about
Which we showed on previous videos too. So Kyron disappears after Terry drops him off on the regular routine of going to school. Now, mind you, Terry used to be a school teacher. So Terry has been hyper involved in Kyron's education. It just so happens in that 6-7 years that, there was this, and just like every marriage, there was a 7-year itch. And Kyron and Kyron's dad, Kaine, and Terry, the stepmother, were starting to wear on their relationship. And I'm pretty sure Desiree had something to do with that too, because Desiree is not the sweetest apple in the bunch. As far as their involvement and everything else, as soon as Kyron disappeared from the science fair in that morning, speculation went out. Now, nobody accused Terry of anything at first. Everybody was trying to find out what was going on. But when they realized that the investigation was so spread out and there were so many people that could be potentially involved, and they had no idea what to do with the money and the funding and everything that came to them so fast for help, because it was a little sheriff's department in that town, nobody could take control of the situation. So by the time they involved any of the other departments or anything else, as far as like the police department or any other agency that had helicopters or, other than bog search and rescue or, or bloodhound search and rescue for the forested area around the area, they were not set up at that sheriff's department to handle investigations, interrogations for pedophiles and, deep dives on people's background checks like the police department is, who have actual detectives. Fast forward 14 years now, every year, the mother has done a car wash biannually in Kyron's name to make sure she gets money. Now, when I got involved, it was because my team had reached out to her on their own, and as far as part of the Normandy show, as far as Red Bull and Coffee, or now Morbid Justice, when they were just Red Bull and Coffee, they did reach out to Desiree to try to showcase her case and everything else, and they started asking questions for their investigation. And by this time, the Kool-Aid had already been mixed and distributed. There was a Facebook page that was made through the mother, as well as other radicals that were involved in her story, a lot of people that are victims themselves and other aspects that gravitated to her, and they started developing a narrative against Terry, the stepmother. So not only do we have a bitter ex-wife, but we have a bitter baby mama. It's the only thing I can say. Through this harassment online in the last 2 years, besides Red Bull and Coffee, I am also friends with Terry. So just full disclosure. So I just came across a video, or we all just came across a video this morning for Mother's Day that was put out for In the Name of Kyron by the mother Desiree. And the mother Desiree, with these biannual car washes and whatever she tries to do as far as raising money for her Venmo account, which she will not disclose to the public, She is also admitted in a tell-all book of her biography, excuse me, which we also did a review on, where she openly admitted that she was not working, that there was nothing wrong with her kidneys, which was the reason that she couldn't be a mother at the time of Kyron's birth and why Kaine had to take Kyron with Terry. She got remarried right up to a detective, to another police department, like months after Kyron's disappearance.
Well, she got remarried in August. So
well, they
it
did
was,
they
yeah.
did the pictures and the ceremony months later afterwards. So as much pointing, the point I'm getting at, as much finger pointing as she's done at Terry for a lack of empathy for what's going on and not mourning her son the same way that she mourns her, she actually does a lot of questionable things herself. Even if she did not do anything to her son, the way she's dealt with her mourning, especially after 14 years, has been a lot questionable. And admitting that you're taking the donation money that people are giving you for this car wash that are supposed to be for PIs and, you know, and all these searches and stuff, and we find out you're not doing these searches. There's no evidence of these searches other than what was done in the very first part of the investigation. But you're spending it on your house, cars, refurbishing, you know what I mean, all this stuff. And now you're on Mother's Day doing this video. So I'm going to take clips out of this video, but we're going to take excerpts out of this, and some of them I already showed you guys. But one of the first things that you're going to see here is that not only is she blaming Terry, but well, I'll let you see for yourself here.
Driving to and from the school, every time I was looking out the window, looking, searching, all the time. Never once did she ever look around. In fact, she asked me, "What are you doing?" Like she was annoyed at it. I said, "I'm looking for my son. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And she thought that was odd.
She's recalling this after 14 years, after all the Kool-Aid's been spun and drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And now, is it just me coming into the picture, or is that the stern bitterness of somebody who is determined with no evidence? I watched this whole interview, and shout out to Gary or this gentleman who did this. I believe his name is Doug Bishop.
Yeah.
Doug Bishop has some good content. Don't get me wrong, but and like I told the ladies here earlier, I have no problem with him as a content creator or even as an interviewer. The only thing I have question is who he interviewed. His subject is just a piece of shit.
Well, she is so sympathetic. I mean, when you look at her, your heart breaks for her. So it's very easy for her to spin this web and make it look the way she wants it to look until you really start to dive into it.
And then what she does is when you don't agree with her, she'll invite you into her forums on Facebook, or whatever platforms, as long as you agree and you bash the stepmother Terry. The minute that you question any other narrative or any other person, they've been investigated. They've been, you know what I mean? There's always this, but there's no proof of this investigation. So we started doing our own deep dive investigations on everybody that she claimed was investigated, and it turned out they weren't investigated. Or if they were investigated, her ideas investigated is that another content creator asked them questions. That's not an interrogation investigation. That's just sleuthing.
Yeah.
So we found out the truth that there was no actual investigation. There was just sleuthing done, and these people are not obligated to tell the truth to somebody like myself. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. But if you're able to get them to talk, you can compare what's online to the facts, you know, that have been given by the police department, and somebody could do something about it. But you can't just keep dismissing people or law enforcement from investigating other people because you have a target for your ex's new wife.
And I want to say the sources that we have came that, you know, confirmed a lot of what we already knew, but everyone wants to spin it and say no, da 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 da. We do have a connection with Ellie, so we do get tips from our Facebook group. We get all this information, we turn everything in, and the sources that we have are people that worked teachers, whatever. Like, there's a lot of people that just confirm, DY, the step bio mom, will say, this isn't true, da da da, like the whole picture thing. What is she saying, Coffee? It was taken at.
He says that the
But if
picture was
that
taken at
wasn't what-
8:45. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you're right. My bad. Go ahead.
She says the picture was taken at 8:45. Now that changed drastically just over the last 2 years. We know Gina Zimmerman, who was the PTA, the head of the PTA back in 2010, in her very first interview said that picture was taken at 8:15. And we have gotten confirmation that that is still the correct time for that photo.
And this is stuff that LE knows, you guys. This is stuff that LE, they know. It's just Biomom and her minions going around trying to spin.
These are all reasons why Terry is not in jail.
Well,
Exactly.
and that's what I wanted to bring up too. So the audience knows too. Desiree has tried to sue, just like the OJ trial that happened where they didn't convict him in federal court for the murder, of, Miss Brown. But as far as she tried to go and sue him civilly, just like Miss Brown's family did with OJ. And she went in there with an attorney. Terry got her attorney. And when it came down to showing their cards as far as exhibits and, and what was founded, Terry's attorney had asked for the Venmo information for the donations because it shows grounds of not only defamation of character, but of slander to show why the mother has financial gain to keep talking shit about the stepmother, Terry, is because she gets monetized for talking shit. She gets paid to go on these interviews. She gets paid, to do these she gets paid by donations to do these car washes, to keep talking and bringing everybody's awareness. And they just keep harassing Terry. Terry has got people another state away, outside of her house on a daily basis. They're watching her car when she goes to her. I mean, I get pictures of her stalkers all the time, and she's asking me, "Hey, what do you know about this person?" Because they keep following me. Da 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 da. So that should just go in and tell you if in this interview, Desiree tries to say something about how Terry has a pattern of keeping doing this. It's only a matter of time before she does this to somebody else's kid, and then she plays this skit.
But if that wasn't what she did that day, then okay. I am a reasonable person. I get it. But I want to be able to put him to rest.
How do you? Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
How do you know that Kyron is not alive somewhere? Why do you continue to want to search the same places that have been searched for years and years and years? And the fact that LE has asked people to, in different countries, hang up age progression photos, and even told James that James, who is Kyron's stepbrother, you guys, LE told him that they are looking in other countries. Like, nothing makes sense here. You haven't found Kyron, maybe because he's still alive. There's no evidence that he is unalive. There's nothing. So why does it have to be, I want to bring him to rest? Why wouldn't you just think every day, keep that hope? My kid, I'm going to find. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry, but you hit this right on the head right here when you put this comment in here. Kaine got custody. Now think about the logic in that. In this society, if a man's girlfriend, wife, whatever, killed another woman's kid, how would he get custody of that kid? Why wouldn't that kid go back to the mother who was screaming all this time? How has Kaine had custody? How did Kaine, not custody of Carmen, sorry, I'm saying this wrong. If this was going on and there was so much abuse going on with their divorce, how did Kaine end up with custody of Kyron all this time? And you were such a fit parent. That's what I was trying to say.
Right. How did she not go back and get custody?
And we know that she didn't. She says that she did, but in the court documents that we've shown, she didn't come back to fight for Kaine. I mean,
No,
for
she didn't. During the divorce, she said that she negotiated child support. At first, she wanted child support. Then they had to renegotiate because of her medical condition. Her income was not reflective of what was going to be on the following year for child, if they had to do a modification.
yeah.
So she said that because of her medical issues with her kidneys or liver or whatever it was with her back or with her lower back, she could not get the medical aid that she needed here in the States. So she had to keep going to Canada for whatever reason. Now that I bounced that story off some of my friends in other circles, and they were like, as far as we know, people from Canada come to the United States to get medication. When you go to Canada, you have to be put on a waiting list for their healthcare. Their healthcare may be free, but there's a fucking waiting list.
And
Unheard
it's
voices.
not free for people that don't live there.
Thank you. She is not a citizen or have dual citizenship of Canada. So how does that fucking story make sense?
Wait, hold on.
Unless she was dating somebody in Canada, and that's why she had to keep going up there.
Unheard Voices is from Canada. If you can comment how the medical, like all that works, that would be awesome. But yeah, you have to be a resident. Like you have to live there for, it takes a long time to get residency, right?
No, it depends on the country and what you do. If you're a celebrity, it's not too hard to get citizenship. I think Dennis Rodman did it when he went, Dennis Rodman got dual citizenship when he went to North Korea. Who gets that?
But we're talking an average person at this time. Nobody knew who Desiree was.
I used to work, believe it or not, right before COVID, I used to work for Peckham, which is a company, a third-party company that works with Homeland Security. We used to do passport information or whatever. And I was tier level 1. I only worked there for like 6-7 months before COVID hit, and I ended up becoming a YouTuber after that. But when I was there, the process that you have to go through to become an American citizen. Not only do you have to make sure that I believe if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember because it's been some time, but I believe not only do you have to have a criminal background check, you have to make sure you pay your fees, but there are classes that you have to take for your citizenship. But there are ways to get a passport, and that's not citizenship, but you can get a passport like a visa, but that's not the same. But if you're going for dual citizenship, you have to learn to be an American, you have to learn who the president is and past presidents. And they ask you American history type shit that you should know before you can get that, so there's a test you have to study for. And I've looked online everywhere, nor has she openly admitted that she is a dual citizenship for Canadianship.
And there's no address for her there at all. So, yeah.
There it says Kaine. That was the name. Or is his name? Sorry, thank you. This is making me nuts. Yeah, so Kaine is the father of Kyron Horman. So you got Kaine Horman, who's the father, Kyron Horman, who is the son who disappeared at 6 years old, and
7.
then Desiree Young is the mother, and then Terry Horman, who we refer to as Terry Horman, is the stepmother.
And Kitty is Kyron's. It's Terry's daughter with Kaine, and then there's James, who is Terry's son that was raised with Kyron.
Yeah. So as far as the shit show goes,
Sarah, I said that earlier. Sorry.
No, you're good. So as far as the shit show goes, the reason that I have an issue with this, again, with the fuckery, is because not only does she never show definitive proof about any of her accusations when it comes to, a bitter ex-wife, or a bitter ex-girlfriend or baby mama or whatever. She makes all these accusations and there's never proof. And any accusations that she does try to stand or double down on are other people's opinions to their investigation. So there's never been where she's got an FBI police file or police report or even an FBI agent, or for that fact, in this video this new video that she did this morning, there was nothing on there about, she keeps saying Kaine's name. She keeps saying Tony, her new husband's name, but Kaine and Tony have never did an interview with or without her saying anything that she's corroborating anything that she's saying.
There's
14 years, red flags.
mm-hmm.
You also tried to get into Kaine's foundation for Kyron that he has for his, motorcycle riding or, racing or whatever he does as far as his hobby. And Kaine was like, fuck you, no, I'm not getting involved with your Venmo scheme. And he turned his ex-wife down and was like, no, you go memorize our, memorialize our son in your way. I'll do it the proper way.
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't let her. That should raise red flags right there to everybody. Why wouldn't they? If she keeps saying Kaine's name and Kaine this, and she was such a good person, and Kaine reached out to her during the divorce for help and all this other bullshit that she's trying to spin now.
Kaine didn't even want it was the lawyers or LE that asked Desiree not to release that book. Nobody took part in the book. Nobody. It was Desiree and her word, like her story. For those of you in the comments, the main thing that people bring up is, oh, she failed a polygraph 3 times. Oh, there was 3 murder for hire plots. Nobody knows. Nobody was shown a piece of paper that said, hey, she failed this polygraph. They told Terry. Terry went home. She's the one that told everyone that. And LE uses that as a tactic all the time to try to get a, what's it called?
Confession.
Yeah. So, nobody knows if she did fail it or not. The murder for hire plots, those were a bunch of BS. She's never been.
Hold on. In this version of this video, this news video, she said that there was 1, but there was 3 different murder hire plots.
Oh Lord Jesus! That's why I said 3. But I only knew
what I said earlier before we got on. Yeah. So she says there's 3, not just 1, because all this time she was saying the gardener.
Mm-hmm.
And it was unfounded. We found it to be unfounded. The police found it to be unfounded. That's why the police never arrested her. All those times they try to drag her in for polygraph tests and everything else. Say what you want. You know what I mean? 14 years, all these accusations, all these coincidences, or whatever you guys are theoretically QAnoning putting together. Terry is still gardening in her yard like she's Miss Parker from fucking Friday. You know what I mean? There's no other children that have disappeared in her area. I've checked. There is no other children that have disappeared in her neighborhood, that have disappeared from the school, from a science fair. All of these accusations that she just made in this video that she just did this morning for Mother's Day release.
Exactly. And the timing, like you said, the timing. Oh my God.
The marketing timing is impeccable with Desiree Young, because not only is she methodical about her dual, car washes, twice a year, for Kyron's death, the anniversary of his death and the anniversary of his birthday. But she is methodical now about writing these books and doing these releases on these special anniversaries or days like Mother's Day or whatever. So not only is she able to spin her narrative, but she's able to catch the hearts and minds of those that are, emotionally.
Absolutely.
Emotionally. Thank you.
I want to just cover this for a second. When we talk about Desiree and all this fundraising, the fact that she is not accountable for any of that because she files it as a business, not as a fundraiser or a nonprofit. And that allows her to do this.
Also, this PI thing, with them, it started after we brought up we were looking for a PI that we found, and a lot of other PIs, you can pay them like a $3,000 retainer fee or whatever it's called. And I know that we know that for a fact that they have collected way more than $3,000. So
especially if she's buying cars and refurbishing her house and wardrobe, and we'll never see her looking bummy. She's always in urban white fly shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and the fact
let's go back to go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say the fact that she said, what was it in that other interview? Now the PI is to put Terry in jail, not to find Kyron. Basically, this is I don't remember the exact words, but it was to put Terry in jail. Like, it doesn't make sense. None of it.
Now that is not the name of her book because she wasn't allowed to use that name. She had to change the name. The name is Boy Missing.
But if
Kyron
you guys
Horman
do, if
story.
you guys find this old book on Amazon, this is basically this picture right here. If you look at this, if you look at the picture, she actually, the reason why I keep bringing this up is because Desiree had such a distant relationship from her son that she actually took 2 different photos and photoshopped to make this book cover. Do you see Kyron's ear there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see her hair? How they meshed the 2 together. They slid them together.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my.
So when I'm online and I'm talking shit as a video editor, you know what I'm saying? I have an eye for this. Yeah, I've been doing this for some years now. So when I see all this AI shit come up and all these people trying to say, these memes or whatever, I'm like when they show P. Diddy kissing all these other celebrities, I'm like, that's not real. 50 Cent
Unheard
doesn't really come out.
Voices.
And we've heard, Terry is in our
Unheard.
Facebook.
Wait. You need to highlight Unheard Voices' last statement.
Let me go back to the comments here. I didn't know that in the U.S. you have to pay for a SWAT team to look for a missing person. That part.
That is absolutely not true, nor can it be done, because then the investigation is being funded to go one way.
Well, it was already done like that when the police refused, when the sheriff's department refused to fucking take the reins on it, and they let Desiree basically run everything because they wanted the overtime and they didn't know where to look. So they were basically like, who could be a suspect? So they allowed the mother to, because if you look at the previous videos, nobody was looking at Terry. So when Desiree realized, hold on, shit, they're asking me who I think is the fucking murderer. Come on,
right?
You know who I think is the murderer. This bitch just took my old man, 6 years ago, this, that, and the third. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
Come on. It's only obvious.
The only time the waterworks really started going on the Dr. Phil interview with Biomom is when it was brought up about Kaine cheating or whatever it was that Dr. Phil said. And then Kaine gave an apology and she just started crying. And it's it just shows. It shows that you hate this woman so much that you'd rather focus on her.
Well, if you look at all the pictures, especially in her interviews, when people do like this last interview, there was no proof, there was no documentation, there was not even a police report, no FBI reports. All they did was take footage from older footage from news clips, and they try to piece it into her narrative. And even the doctor, they didn't even show none of the Dr. Phil clips like I showed. It's why are you not showing the Dr. Phil stuff where you and Kaine were together in there, talking to Dr. Phil, and even Terry was on Dr. Phil with you, and you guys made a whole fucking spectacle, and I know you got paid from it.
Yeah.
So that part, it's just like I said, it's a big fucking marketed shit show, and I have more respect for. I adore Terry because of her poise about all this. Because if it was me and I was a woman, I would have went fucking crazy. I would have made it my destiny to fucking make sure I got revenge after. Not only did you get my daughter taken away from me for the most part and given to Kaine, you know what I mean, because of all this drama. How could I fight for custody for my kid and prove my innocence when you're online bashing me? Not only bashing me with an army of fucking trolls that don't know what's going on, that have bleeding hearts, but you got funded by the United States and the crooked police department who spent how many, what was it, in 1 month they averaged about $1,500 a piece in fucking overtime.
It was a lot, yeah.
Or $15,000 a piece in overtime in 1 month on average.
There was a lot. There was a lot.
So they took all that funded money that they got, you know what I mean, and they just ran with it. And then when they realized, oh shit, we haven't produced anything and we haven't looked at anybody. So now they got all these paychecks and got paid, and they need somebody to. Well, now we need to look. So not only did they already put Desiree in charge as far as the direction, but now they want to reach out after the fact and look at the FBI. So now the FBI is like, what do you guys got? What did you guys find? Okay, let's look at what you got. And then they go to look at Terry, and there's nothing there. Look at Terry, what, 3-4 times? Nothing.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Norman, go look in our chat. I put a screenshot in there that just sort of shows the type of person that I feel Terry is.
You guys, after all this bashing, all these threats, all this harassment in our Facebook group, look what Terry says.
Now we're talking about somebody in our group was talking about maybe Desiree went to Canada for drugs or drug treatment.
The ex-boyfriend said that the problems were because of drug use, and so other people started thinking that. Yeah. So go on, copy. Sorry.
That's all right. I can't read it because if I go to that screen, then you guys lose me.
So the first one says here, it says, I know why she went to Canada and what the non-ADA drug was for. To my knowledge, she didn't even smoke, much less use drugs. There have been a ridiculous amount of false statements about me, many of which she has initiated, but I can't allow this one about her to continue despite being at odds. I know. Oh, that's all that you sent me. That's all I got.
That was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just thought, when she could have really just let that story go.
Oh, you mean as far as, yeah, I got you. As far as defending herself, yeah.
Yeah, she come in and said, hey, look, that you've got it wrong about DY. She wasn't doing drugs. I mean,
But if you're gonna tell an opinion, at least let me give you some of the facts so your opinion can be a little bit more.
And she does this quite frequently in our group. I mean, she has corrected me on things that absolutely made it look better the way I was saying it. But she's come back and said, hey, that's not the way it was. It was this way. And, like I said, it looked better the way I was saying it. But she's absolutely about making sure that we get the facts right.
Yeah. Well, I do know that when her attorney does allow her to finally come on and tell her story, which will probably be after, Desiree has a brain aneurysm, but she'll probably be able to tell her story, a couple of years from now, when there's no lawfare involved that they can try to monetize off of or whatever. So she'll come on here and tell her side of the story, I believe, and we'll hear not only the facts, but we'll be able to also see new pictures, you know what I mean? And
yeah, all the pictures, guys, that you see on the internet are mainly Terry's.
85% of those pictures are Terry's.
She even started watermarking them because people would steal them and Photoshop them, but then they started erasing the watermarks. Terry was the one that taught Kyron sign language at 8 months?
Something like that. She was his daily caregiver. She was the one that got him up, brushed his teeth, made him breakfast. She was the one that got him dressed for school. She was the one that did homework at night. Terry was the mother. She was the one that was there all the time.
If in these cases, if a parent is planning on, murdering a stepchild or a child, they're not going to do it in that sort of way. I mean, she's at home alone with her daughter, with Kyron, all the time. So,
and they lived in a very secluded area, very secluded. Kyron could have easily went missing from the house, and she could have been like, he took a walk. I don't know where he went to.
Exactly. So, we also have a petition. We're trying to get the different set of eyes, either to the state police Kyron's case, or the cold case. We're trying to just get a whole different set of eyes. If you guys
Yeah,
want
the
to see,
state police have a cold case unit that they just reopened. And we would love to see them take this case over and turn it into a cold case so that we could have new eyes look at it.
yeah. So please go sign that petition. It is on our group. You know,
And
it's
that
long.
petition has been sent to the governor. It's been sent to many law enforcement agencies, school personnel. Like, the person is really pushing to get it out there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
Well,
we appreciate Norman for every. Oh, I know we're not done. We didn't go through the video.
Yeah, so I was gonna do the video on the edit because it is very long, and I did not want. Well, if you do, you want to go through it?
I mean,
I'm gonna have to jump here soon.
I was gonna
Well,
say because I know Red Bull's got to go. I was just gonna play it on the re-edit and put it in there for the re-edit.
yeah, we could do that. I just want to.
So
We appreciate you so
I'll
much.
put the link. Well, actually, I'm not even gonna put the link to the channel. Well, actually, no, because I ain't got nothing against this dude. Let me share the link to this video so you guys can watch it also. But yeah, I'm gonna re-edit this and as far as anything else is concerned, so you guys can see the highlights if you guys don't want to watch this hour-long video of her interview.
If Doug does watch this, because just like you said, you know, they're not asking for, hey, where's the proof of this? Where's the proof of this, that, whatever. Don't fall for just anything, because
Yeah,
that's
so take an objective eye to this and realize that when you're watching this, it is a tearjerker. It is very sad. If you didn't know, if I was 20 years younger and didn't know anything about video editing and, you know, and marketing, I would say, holy shit, where are the pitchforks? Let's go get Terry. But knowing what I know and also the background of the story, I watched this woman develop over the years with her content and how she has incorporated other people's talents to try to get her message across. And this guy, unfortunately, has very good content. It's just the person he's interviewing is a very shitty person as far as her narrative on the story. And the fact that she didn't give him any receipts, to me as a sleuth, speaks volumes as far as this content going out.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm asking, you know, if Doug, if you, because I don't know if you plan on doing another interview, but please at least go look at our Facebook group, Kyron Horman Investigation, New, Old, and Ignored Tips. We have receipts. We have a lot of stuff. And it's interesting because you can see Terry comment and make posts, and you see a whole different side that you didn't even know, you know, because of all the bullshit that surrounds.
We actually learned about Kyron in the very early beginning part of Kyron going missing. For anybody that's been here 14 years, we knew Kyron was a cute little boy. We knew he was shy, and we knew that he was cute, but we really didn't know much more than that. And over the last 2 years, me personally, I have learned a whole lot about Kyron and his personality and the type of child he was, and things that would have been very helpful if I was looking for him at 7 that never got out there. It's really sad and tragic.
What pisses me off about this interview, again, and I put the description in for you guys that are watching on YouTube, and I'll do it on Facebook, but I put the link to the description of the interview. But as far as like her interview, what pisses me off about it is not only the lack of evidence, but the accusatory tone in her voice, where she was just like, I try to tell Kaine, if you want to be a productive parent, you just have to do this. And I'm just like, oh my God, if you don't remind me of my own baby mama and her bitter ass, Carrie Lake, Karen, passive aggressive fucking, you know, I'm just asking questions, you know, type fucking aggressiveness. And I'm just like, oh, you're poison.
and
yes, the passive aggressiveness.
Man.
Still, you know, I want people also to know that Kaine believes that Kyron is alive. He still believes it. His girlfriend made a post, last year, asking people not to listen to the misinformation. And to, you know, they
keep
still
looking for him. Yes.
Keep looking, because it's important to know that, because people are saying, how are you guys, you know, saying this about DY and da-da-da, but how are people saying that Kyron is dead when it's a disrespect to his father that still believes Kyron is alive? So it's just not okay. It's not okay.
I agree 100%.
The
All
faith.
right,
Well, with
guys,
that,
I am getting off of here. I love you. Happy Mother's Day, guys.
Happy
same
Mother's
here. I'm gonna dip off too because I gotta finish packing and moving all the rest of mom's stuff, to my new place. So, and the sooner I get there, the sooner you guys can see this new setup I got going, as far as the new
Day.
apartment. So.
I'm excited for you. You don't have a lot left, right? Or you have to move everything.
Man, so little Norm, side note, go. Yeah, all right. So this is the segment where we move on to personal part of the podcast. So yeah, as far as like my personal stuff, so they released mom early. She was doing so well the last 2 days that insurance would not cover her to go into the physical therapy because she was doing so well. She didn't need it, so it was going to be a waste of time, money. So they allowed me to discharge her and bring her back home, but she's doing fine. She's eating and everything she's supposed to. So
Okay.
we talked to her. We talked to DES, who helps fund the program where you get paid to be a CNA. So I guess it's through the state. So I'd literally be working as a agent, like a DES, caseworker or whatever, more or less. But it'd be as the caretaker part for my mother. So I would have to go through some classes with them and become an employee, and then I'd have to keep a ledger of what I do on a daily basis as far as taking her to her doctor's appointments, her VA appointments, or when she goes to like when I take her to the Y so she can go play bingo and all that stuff. I think once in a while, because I budget out now, I'm in charge of her budget, her SSI and stuff. I'm going to make sure I set aside funds so that way once a month we can just, if everything's going well and she's eating healthy, kind of carry them, stick with her and be like, look, want to go to the casino? I got 300. Let's do this. I know you love Keno. You know what I'm saying? And so we grew up in Reno, Nevada. So like she likes to gamble. So I give her a little budget and be like, okay, you only get $100.
Hold on. Jane. Okay, hold on. Let me address this real quick. So Ellie, Terry said in the beginning that Ellie told the family to go out with their normal routine, go shopping, go to the gym, do all of this stuff. So Bio Mom, the minions, everybody on the internet said that wasn't true. Ellie never said that. We found the article where Ellie asked the family to go about with their normal routine, and it was archived. So we posted it, and also Kaine went to the gym with her, and that's never talked about. So she was asked to do, normal things that she would normally do.
Well, they do that all the time though with missing persons because they're waiting for a ransom. And from doing what I do and knowing what I know, usually when they don't have a lead, they'll tell anybody that either they suspect or part of the investigation to just do your normal activities or whatever, because they want to see if they're being watched by the person that stole the kid and want to see if they're going to give a ransom letter or something like that. So that was when you guys told me about that, that made complete fucking sense. Why she would make up, why she would put on makeup, why she would go to the gym, all that stuff. That perfectly made sense. It's because the police told her, because when you go through a trauma like that, you're looking for leadership, you're looking for direction on what to do, because that's not something you go through every day. So you're like, what do I do? Am I supposed to be in the woods looking for him and all that? And when Desiree goes on this interview and like that clip I showed you where she's like, well, even if this and this and this and whoop, 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 and it's like, well, hold on, wait a minute now. Even if, even if Terry did this, the police told her to act this way. And I know they told you the same thing probably. So why are we acting brand new when she's in the car with you asking you, what are you doing? She's questioning what you're doing because you're being obviously looking for Kyron. You guys weren't supposed to be out there doing drag nets and looking for him because you're telling whoever took him that you're onto him. That's what she was getting at. That's at least with my perspective, what I saw.
Well, and Jane said that I don't care. There'd be no way I could carry on with my normal routine 4 days after my child goes missing. But you don't understand the fact that she's being told that this could help find her child. You can't say what you can and couldn't do if you've never been in this situation.
And that's
Sorry.
the glory between male and female perspective, because like I always say, a woman's going to use her intuition to look at a situation where a man is going to look at logic. And it's going to
Mm.
be the woman that steps back who is not emotionally involved and realizes, you know what? Let me pull my emotions out of this and look at this logically. Something doesn't add up. But
No.
you can hear it from the comments, and no disrespect to Jane Doe,
Oh, no.
obviously that's not her real name, but yeah, you would be devastated. You would be. Everybody handles shit different. Everybody filters everything differently. It's not like Terry, this happened and Terry, went to the strip club, you know what I mean, or made a fucking video, you know what I mean, you know what I mean. It amazes me how when people want to victimize, they extremely victimize.
Mm. She was
That's all.
crying at home behind closed doors. You can see the interview that we did with James.
Well, and even if she wasn't, Kaine would have said something. Kaine would have been like, "This bitch is at home drawing pictures of pentagrams," and you know what I mean. And she's not helping me at all. She doesn't feel sorry at all. She's in there making ham sandwiches.
Kaine even said that she was doing everything she could to help. She was searching. She was doing everything. Ellie even said the same thing, and that she was cooperating. Kaine did not leave Terry, even after the polygraphs. He stuck with her. So, okay, I'm sorry, Norman. So what about the moving thing? I just had to say that because a lot of
you're good. You're good. No, but we're basically by the end of the week we'll probably be in the new place. So, but yeah.
Yeah, because it's been, like, how long you were? I think it was a few weeks ago you were already supposed to go there.
Yeah, but mom going in the hospital and the baby mama drama. You know how I do.
Exactly. Well,
You know how I do.
I'm happy for you guys. You'll be settled soon, and it'll take off a lot of weight on your off your shoulders. So.
Oh yeah. Well, it's what it is. Hey, Jennifer, welcome back to the show. As far as anything else is concerned, though, I am still working on Fukery News with the homie Nate, trying to get that together. It's just a matter of tying him down. Like I said, he's on parental mode too. He's got his own kingdom he's got to worry about with his own set of kids. So trying to pin him down. I might talk to him and just run with it myself and just have him come on as my, as my regular guest, when he's ready to come on. But I'm thinking about this running with it because the idea is really good as far as the Fukery News. But he made the border. Let me give you a preview. Give you a preview of this. So
I love that.
Yeah, he made this border for us right here for the Fukery News. So yeah, so when me and him get on there, we can start talking shit and give updates of local updates on local and world news and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited, but yeah, I want him to hurry up and come on so we can do our thing because I work with a whole bunch of different people with different talents, and I want to be able to play on the weaknesses and teach on the strengths. You know what I'm saying? Or play on the strengths and teach on the weaknesses. So, but he doesn't like to be online a lot, so it's like, come on, stop making excuses. Just hit the fucking live button. Just hit the live button. Do it. Make your mistakes. So.
Right. I was more nervous about recording.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was more nervous about recording. Remember that? I was like, I am not recording. I threw like a whole tantrum. I was like,
because you like feeding off the audience. It's because you like doing like this, this stuff where we, talk to the audience and stuff. Yeah, when we tried to pre-record, you were lost. You're like, oh my God, I don't have anybody to talk to. Oh my God,
I felt like the guy you're talking about now, but except me being pre-recorded and then him, I guess it's live, but he'll get used to it.
Yeah, it's what it is. But with that being said, let me jump out of here so I can do me. You guys, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and comment below because the conversation is going to continue after the video is over with.
Yes. Subscribe to our YouTube, Morbid Injustice.
Morbid Injustice. I keep calling it Morbid Justice, Morbid Injustice.
Yes, Morbid Injustice. And then if you're on Facebook, please go join Kyron's group. We need all the support.
Join them all so you guys can get a full spectrum of what the what's going on. And then you can see for yourself when you go into, Desiree's, you'll know what groups you're in, because when you ask a question that doesn't go with the vibe, you'll get kicked out of the group, or, you'll get trolled and then kicked out of the group. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter the opinions. Everybody can have an opinion, but if we all come together and actually focus and, focus on Kyron, maybe he can be found. Something needs to change. 14 years and nothing. So what does it hurt? What will it hurt just thinking, oh, wait, maybe Terry didn't do this. Maybe he's not dead somewhere. So you guys just join, please, and show Kyron some support. But thank you, Norman. As always, I'm going to message you in a bit.
All right. I'll talk to you later, girlfriend.
All right. Peace.
All right, y'all. It's your boy, Norm. You already know. Thank you again for jumping on the live stream with us. I know I always come on here and don't say shit, but for those of you guys that caught the live and participated,